on them. And they should know and learn the three different types of tawheed that Allah has taught us in the Quran and Rasulullah teaching us in his book of hadith. That Allah is the only one who deserves to be worshipped. The tawheed of rububiyyah, of ibadah. That Allah is the creator, the khaliq, the bari, the musawwir. And we teach them the 99 names and the attributes of Allah. When they learn all these things, they will truly respect their parents. They will truly be merciful towards their parents because they are muwahhideen. They understood la ilaha illallah. They understood that Allah is watching them. If we mistreat our parents, we're not going to be able to understand the tawheed correctly. The second section is the virtues, the grace, the fruits, the fada'il of birr al-walidayn, of honoring our parents. In many hadiths, the Prophet ﷺ is teaching us how to honor our parents and respect them. The famous hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud narrated in Bukhari and Muslim. He walked to the Prophet ﷺ and tells him, "O Rasulullah, tell me something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the most. Something Allah loves the most." What is it, "O Rasulullah"? So I can't do it. That's why we should ask ourselves, brothers and sisters. What is the thing that Allah loves from us to do the most? That's how the Sahaba were. Asking about things that will make them close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unlike us. We just ask things to make us close to the dunya so we can be rich and wealthy. This dunya will be gone soon, maybe tomorrow, the next day. But the akhirah will be for eternity. So he says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, أحب الأعمال إلى الله الصلاة على وقتها. That's the first thing we should teach our children. Number one thing is to pray on time. That's what Allah loves the most. If you truly love Allah, servant of Allah, you will do what He loves most. If you truly love your mother and your father, if they tell you something, you do it. If you truly love your wife, if she says something, you do it for her. Oh sister, if your husband tells you to do something and you love him to death, you will do it for him. Otherwise he will be upset. What about the creator of the universe? He loves us to pray on time. To pray on time. How many times we've talked about this issue? And unfortunately I hear many things about the brothers. They combine the salat. Asr, Maghrib, Isha, all of it at 10 o'clock at night. But the Prophet ﷺ went to Isra and Mi'raj. And he saw this big angel taking a huge rock and hitting a man with the rock on his head. And hitting his head until his head split in half. And the rock split and breaks. And he was doing that. And Jibreel tells the Prophet ﷺ, he will be in that situation until the day of the judgment. And then Muhammad ﷺ asked Jibreel. And he said, "Oh Jibreel, why? What is the reason for this? What did this man do in the dunya?" And Jibreel alayhi salam said, "This man made the salah late in purpose. And that's his torment in his grave. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inherit this earth." We ask Allah to guide us to pray on time. Pray on time, brothers and sisters, is mandatory. The Sahaba used to call takfir upon the people who pray not on time in purpose. Abu Bakr and Umar used always to watch everybody. And the Sahaba, all of them, to pray Jama'ah in the house of Allah together. And if you can, at least pray at home Jama'ah with your family. If you can't make it to the masjid. If there is a huge excuse, such as being ill or an emergency. Otherwise, we have to be in the masjid 5 times a day. That's why we call it masjid, because we make sujood in here. That's why we call it Jama'ah, because the congregation. Mandatory upon us, وَرْكَعْ مَعَ الرَّاكِعِينَ. Make ruku' with the raki'in, not just one raki'. Please come forward, brothers, please come forward. There is room outside. The brother is too tight here, there is room outside. But the masjid has to be filled first. Jazakumullah khair. There are virtues, as I said, and fruits of birr al-walidayn. In many hadiths, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam من حديث ابن شهاب قال أخبرني أنس رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من أحب أن يبسط له في رزقه وينسأ له في أثره فليصل رحمه. وفي رواية أحمد رحمه الله في المسند: من أحب أن يمد له في عمره وأن يزاد له في رزقه فليبر والديه وليصل رحمه. Prophet ﷺ is telling us in this hadith, brothers and sisters, that من يحب أن يمد له في عمره, whomever wants or wish longevity, live longer. It is a natural thing upon us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us that we fear death. It's a natural thing. Except with the ones that with extreme iman, believe in faith, the ulama and the mujahideen. The one who don't fear death, but we shouldn't fear death. But it's a natural thing upon us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put in us, that we fear death. We just pray to Allah that we die in a good way. That's the dua the Prophet ﷺ used to make all the time. He's Rasulullah ﷺ, who knew he was going to Jannah. He asked Allah to make a good death for him. Husn al-Khatimah, a good ending. Whoever wish the longevity, to live longer, وَيُنْسَأَ لَهُ فِي أَثَرِهِ, or يُبْسَطْ لَهُ فِي رِزْقِهِ, and to be wealthy. Allah gives you more wealth and more rizq. Allah opens up the doors for rizq and sustenance. Two things that every one of us would love to have. Longevity, live longer. But the most beloved people to Allah, as the Prophet ﷺ said, that the one who lives longer and do the good deeds. And the most evil to Allah, as the Prophet ﷺ said, the ones who live longer and do evil deeds. Makes sense to us. Longevity. And Allah put the blessing in his rizq and sustenance. فَلْيَسَرْ رَحِمًا. Two things he has to do. Kinship and honoring your parents. The kinship. Salat al-Rahim. Who are the people who should do the kinship with? Obviously, the first one are our parents. Every day we'll check upon our parents. If they're overseas, if they're far away, at least 3 times a week, the best you can do. Now, alhamdulillah, the technology Allah has blessed us with is infinite. Smartphones, Skype, internet. There is no way you cannot talk to your parents, whatever they are. What comes after it? The brothers and sisters close to you. Your siblings, your uncles, your aunts, grandfathers, grandmothers. Those are the closest ones to you that is mandatory upon us to check upon them. Mandatory upon us. Otherwise it will be qati'at al-rahim, which is haram in our deen. I will mention the ayah from the verse in the Quran why it is. رضا الله في رضا الوالدين. Prophet ﷺ said, من حديث عبد الله بن عمرو, رضا الرب في رضا الوالد وسخط الرب في سخط الوالد. Hadith sahih. Prophet ﷺ said, pleasing you, Lord, is pleasing your Father. And this pleasing you, Lord, this honoring you, Lord, is dishonoring your Father. When you dishonor your Father, you dishonor Allah. When you please your Father and listen to Him and obey Him, you are pleasing Allah and you are obeying Allah. And obviously, it has to do with the obedience of Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If your father tells you to go and do something haram, you wouldn't do it, obviously. This is if it has to do with our Sharia. It has to do with Islam. You obey your parents if it has to do with the Islamic Sharia. Rather than that, it's obvious to us. We cannot obey our parents if they tell us to do something haram or a bid'ah or a sin. Common sense. The hadith of Muawiyah السلمي قال, I think to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam فقلت, a Sahabi named Muawiyah came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he was on his left side walking. And he looked at the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he stopped him from walking. And he said, oh Rasulullah, I really want to go with you this battle. Because I don't want the dunya, I want the akhirah. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam looked at him and he said, do you have a mother? He said, yes, Ya Rasulullah. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, وَيْحَكْ أَحَيَّةٌ أُمُّكَ. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, woe, is your mother alive? He said, whoa, is your mother alive? Then Muawiyah said, yes. He said, stay with her. Then he turned around and he walked to the right side of the Prophet ﷺ. And he grabbed it and he said, oh Rasulullah, I want to go with you in this battle. I'm dying the sake of Allah. And he want the akhirah, I don't want the dunya. The Prophet ﷺ looked at him. And he told him again, وَيْحَكَ حَيَّةٌ أُمَّكَ. Oh, or woe, is your mother alive? He said, yes, O Rasulullah. He said, stay with her. For the third time, the Sahabi walked in front of the Prophet ﷺ, and he stood up in front of his face, ﷺ, and he stopped him and he said, oh Rasulullah, he looked at him face to face, and he said, I want to go with you to the Jannah, I want to go to this battle, I want the akhirah, I don't want the dunya. For the third time. The Prophet ﷺ looked at him and he said, again, do you have a mother? And she's alive. He said, yes, O Rasulullah, she's alive. He says, stay with her and take care of her. The Jannah is underneath her feet. Stay with her and take care of her. The Jannah is underneath her feet. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the guidance and the iman, the taqwa, to be merciful to our parents. So Allah forgive our parents. Oh God, forgive us. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Another hadith. Prophet ﷺ said, ألا أنبئكم بأكبر الكبائر. ألا أنبئكم بأكبر الكبائر. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, don't I tell you the three most major sins in our deen? The three most major sins. They say, yes, O Rasulullah, tell us. الإشراك بالله وعقوق الوالدين وجلس وكان متكئا صلى الله عليه وسلم. He sat down, he was laying, and he sat down. And then he said, ألا وقول الزور. ألا وقول الزور. ألا وقول الزور. And the Sahabi قال كان يرددها صلى الله عليه وسلم وليته سكت. The three major sins, most major sins. First one we all know is shirk. Right after shirk is dishonoring your parents. That's how important it is, brothers and sisters. To honor our parents and to stick to them and be with them. I have to say something very briefly, especially we are here in this country. In our deen, in Islam, there is no such thing as freedom of speech. We have to know this, by the way. In our deen, there is no such thing as freedom of speech. Or I'm free to do whatever I want to do. Or democracy. The law of the shaitan, democracy, is not in Islam. Democracy is kufr. It's shirk. What does democracy mean? حكم الشعب نفسه بنفسه. The ulama have said. Is to rule ourselves by ourselves. What is Allah and the Prophet and the Quran? If we say, oh, I just want to say whatever I want to say. I'm free to say whatever I want to say. We have to teach our children this matter. Otherwise, your child will walk in front of you and he will tell you, I will say whatever I want to say. I mean, America is a free country. And this is the place we will teach our kids the correct deen and the correct sharia. Some brothers, they think sharia is to cut hands and to chop off heads. That's not what sharia is. It's way better than that. It's a huge subject. All our deen, the entire Quran, and the entire teaching of the Prophet ﷺ is our sharia. This is the most beautiful thing. To respect your parents and to honor them. Now some of the parents, I feel bad for them, they're just afraid to just touch their kids. They're afraid to call 911. Wallahi, is a huge problem. Huge matter that we have to consider very seriously. To teach the first thing we have to do, like I said, is the tawheed. You can stop a child in here and we tell him, give me 20 attributes of Allah, he wouldn't know. Or 3 types of Tawheed.